Welcome to episode 6 of StarchCast with today's co-host, Screwtape. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing pretty alright. Why don't you tell the audience about yourself, Screwtape?
Oh, well, I'm Screwtape Games on YouTube. I think it's like Screwtape Games TV on YouTube, something like that. Twitch is Unk Screwtape. I don't really go on that often, but yeah, I work in video games. I've made some stuff myself. If you go to what was it? It was ilovetojam.com. You can see some of the games that I've made for fun on my own. I worked QA for video games for a while, for I think about 6 years, and I worked on a few titles that you might recognize: Halo, Super Lucky's Tale, Connect, Disneyland Adventures. Those are just a couple of the ones that I've dipped my toe into to do some QA on. Another one that I did, actually one of the first games I tested was oh shoot, what was the name of that one? It was the third one in the series. What was the Oh God, I can't think of it right now. It'll come to me. It was not very good. It had Terry Crews in the advertisements for it, if you can remember which one that one was. That was it. Crackdown 3. That was the first one I ever tested.
Oh man.
It was broken when I started. I wrote a really good bug for that because if you don't mind me going into some QA bug stuff.
Dude, it's totally fine. That's what I kind of called you on here for.
All
that
right.
and misconceptions about like all that stuff.
Oh yeah, perfect. Oh yeah, I could go on and on about how QA is blamed for stuff that company puts into production. But one of the first bugs I wrote, I think it's one of my best bugs actually. In the game, there was this giant mulcher that you're supposed to throw these like comically large Brussels sprouts at. Like in the game, they were doing some genetic modifications on them, and you'd have to throw them at this mulcher to explode the mulcher. It wouldn't take damage from your gun. However, when you shot it, your cursor, your HUD showed that it was dealing damage. So you could sit there and shoot it all day and not destroy it, but it looked like you were dealing damage to it and you could never kill it. So I wrote a bug about that. And then I went back onto it after a while because I was on a different project. I came back and checked the bug. They technically fixed it because they deprecated that entire area.
What does deprecating mean?
They just removed it. They took it out.
I suppose that's one way to solve the problem.
Gone. So my work was all for naught. It was busy work at the time because at that time I was working on Super Lucky's Tale, and we hadn't gotten a new build for like 2 weeks, and they're like, "We need you to do something, so we're not paying you just to sit around." There was a lot of that actually.
Fun.
Oh man. Yeah, there's some good stuff in QA. If you have any questions about QA, hit me up. Actually, on Twitter, if you want to follow me, I know you are. It's XBL Flynn. That's for Xbox Live, and then that's my gamer tag Flynn, FLYNN. That's another thing is I have that gamer tag because I used to work for Microsoft, and I'm not sure you actually know this yet either. I used to do the Banhammer. I was the Xbox Live policy enforcement. So if you have questions about policy enforcement for Xbox Live, I can answer those too. I'm outside of my NDA.
Out of curiosity, when did you first start doing the whole policy enforcement thing?
Oh, that was 2011, 2012. I was there for about a year.
So you were after the Pro saga on Xbox 360 then?
Yeah. I think, it was Xbox 360 was the major console. They were just gearing up for the Xbox One launch. I think they had just announced it that year because we were watching E3 while we were there enforcing stuff.
Because if I recall, like the Xbox 360 was the like most major console before the One. Like
yes.
It went, like out of curiosity,
what's original Xbox? Well, go ahead.
Like I know you said you did policy enforcement and all that.
Mhm.
Like, if I recall correctly, like there was major amounts of hacking that used to happen pretty often
Oh yeah,
on the
yeah. We
360. Like I have a modded 360 myself. I don't go online with that, but
Yeah, well, having a modded 360 violates the terms of use for Xbox Live. You can still technically go online with it. You just can't connect to Xbox Live because it's a security
oh,
uh,
I don't even go
issue
online
with
with it.
the
I just mostly have it
yeah.
because it's kind of a nice piece of history to have.
Oh yeah. Well, and definitely at this point,
Sorry.
you have to have it modded in order to
Yes.
continue using it for what you want to use it for. The 360 was great, and mostly what we would do for like mods is we would monitor discussions. Like any messages or voice messages you send on Xbox Live are not private. They're not private at all.
Oh, I'm well aware of that,
So, oh yeah. Well, a lot of people aren't.
which is kind
There's
of
also
wild.
some other things
Sorry.
that I learned about the Xbox that was built into it that I actually can't talk about because there would probably be legal repercussions. But with we would pull voice messages and text chats and find people selling prestige lobbies, and then we'd ban them if we found them asking for Microsoft points or whatever.
I miss Microsoft points. Those were so much better because, like, it's weird. The Xbox 360 store worked way better than the Xbox One
Hmm.
and the Xbox Series console stores. Even now, it's more
Yep.
stable.
Well, it's the thing I hate about it is they're still in the middle of merging the Xbox store with the Windows store, like the Microsoft store. And so they're still kind of in this middle area where there's still the Xbox game store and then the Windows store, and you have to go between them to figure out where to purchase something. It's really dumb.
Very true. Like my issue with sorry, with like the Xbox One and the Xbox Series console stores, like you can hit the buy button and it'll take anywhere from like 5 to literally 10 minutes just to wait for it to show even the purchase methods, and even then it's kind of a crapshoot if you can even purchase things through there. Like I mostly have to actually go onto the
Oh yeah,
Microsoft website now.
yeah. I do like that if you're signed into Windows on your Microsoft account that you use for your Xbox, and you go like if you go, you can pull up the Xbox app or the Windows Store app and find games, and then a lot of the times those games will be cross-play, meaning that you can play it on Xbox and Windows. And so you can, if you purchase it on your computer and it's the cross-play, you can move over to your Xbox and play it, and they will sync your cloud saves over that as well.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. That's how I actually first found out about that through a Master Chief Collection.
Oh, I worked on that one. That one was fun because we were doing overtime and we were trying to test the achievement popping. So to see if the toasts would come up. The toast is the pop up that comes up on the bottom.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that's what they
So
were called.
yep, that's in development on Android and on Xbox. Basically anything. If there's a pop up that comes up, it's called a toast. Especially if it's built into the system that you're on. So it's like an API that's built a program or function that's built into the operating system. So we were testing those toasts, and they just needed bodies in these multiplayer matches. And so I was getting paid overtime to sit and populate a match. If I died, I had to run back and get in line so this guy could keep killing me over and over again. I did that for like 2 weeks.
Sounds tedious.
It was fun because I was doing something else and then I was just monitoring, and we were all in the same like room. Like, it was like almost an open floor plan, but we had cubes. We could stand up and yell at each other, "Hey, get over here!" kinds of stuff.
Okay, that actually does sound pretty fun.
It was like those kinds of days almost felt like a LAN party, really. And then there was also the time we were doing a massive server test for PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. And this was before it was released on the Xbox. We were testing the server functionality on that, and we had everybody in the office jump into a game. And not just the office, but like everyone in the company, basically. And we have sites that are all we have at least 5 or 6 sites for this company that I worked for.
That's awesome. Out of curiosity, going back to QA, what is the
Yeah.
biggest misconception that people continuously sprout that you wish people would set the record straight on?
Well, if a game is released broken, let's say, I think Call of Duty recently had this happen, where they pushed out a major update, and there was some functionality in that update that broke everything, and they had to roll it back. Everyone blames QA. Why did QA not find this? I can almost guarantee you a bug that big QA did find, and they presented it to the programmers and to the company, and they're like, okay, it's fine, we'll ship it and then we'll fix it later. That's a lot of what happens. Is it's a we'll fix it later kinds of things. And then QA gets blamed for that. Why didn't they probably don't have a QA? No, they have a QA department. They just don't listen to them.
Very unfortunate.
Yes. Oh man, it's so annoying. The other thing that could have happened with that Call of Duty, if I want to play devil's advocate here, is that error or bug may not have appeared in the development environment that they were testing it on, because there's a test environment and then there's a live environment. Specifically for those kinds of games, if you have a game as a service thing, you don't want to have to test them live, and because then you have to have credit cards and stuff attached to the account. Where if you're in a test server, you can add fake money to an account and then click buy and stuff. And sometimes the functionality to add the fake money breaks when you switch over to the live environment.
Sorry, your thing cut out after you said when you switch to the live. What did you
Oh
say?
yeah, sometimes it'll break when you switch it over to the live environment.
Ah, yeah. Going back to games as a service, what is your opinion on the whole thing?
I hate it. I
Thank
hate
you.
games as a service.
Thank you.
Um, I mean, I kind of understand what they're getting at, specifically with like Destiny. If you're playing that game, they have a storyline, and that storyline is being released episodically with everybody else playing it all at the same time. I understand that, and that's also kind of fun to experience that kind of thing with a group. However, I'm more of a single player kind of person,
So
and
am
I would
I.
like to I would like to play through that story at my own pace without having to wait for the next part of the story to be released or having to buy it extra. Unless it's something like StarCraft, you get those expansion packs, you buy the disc, and that's it. And usually it's a fraction of what the original game cost.
I miss the times like that when you could just buy a game and then like the expansions weren't basically the whole game as a
Yeah,
expansion.
yeah. I like it when games release expansions that are basically full-fledged games in themselves, and they sometimes will release them as their own game. Blood Dragon was, I think it was Blood Dragon. Far Cry 3
Yeah,
had one release like that. Excuse me.
you're fine, dude. You ever play the Fate games?
No, I have not played those. I should. I've seen them around, but I've never played them.
I would highly recommend skipping the Cursed King entirely because it is extremely buggy to the point where, at least when I tried doing my playthrough live, I was
Mhm.
completely soft locked out of getting past the
Oh
first
god.
area after I completed the first boss. Like
Wow. Now that's a time where you're like, did they have QA?
see, that's the thing. Like, as last I knew, that issue was not there for the Wild Tangent release, but at least for the Steam release, I'm not sure about the GOG release.
Hmm.
That issue is there.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing about different platforms, sometimes they do, like, that game probably was released on a console first and then released on Steam.
No, no, the Fate
Sometimes
games
they
were
have,
just Wild Tangent entirely, and then it was like
oh,
2000. I'd like to say 15 or 16 they hit Steam.
mhm. Okay. Because what'll happen sometimes with those is they'll get an initial release, and then they'll do a Steam release. This is at least what they did with like Super Lucky Stale. They do a Steam release, and when they put it on Steam, they have a very minimal test group, usually one or two people, to just test base functionality to get it out. And sometimes they'll miss some things, so a soft lock like that wouldn't be outside the realm of possibilities because the way that the changes between systems.
That's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, because like my soft lock was apparently the most minor issue. Because like I was talking to my South African friend who works IT, who I end up gifting the game to at
Hmm.
one point, and he was mentioning that there were pretty bad graphical glitches and quite a few other things. Though again,
Yeah.
his system is significantly more powerful than mine. Like he's got, I think it's like a Threadripper 3990X
Oh wow.
or something like that, and a
Yeah.
6900 XT plus like 128 gigs of RAM. Like when
Wow.
he builds a system. Now, admittedly, my
Wow. And
sorry, you first.
no, that's right. That's a modern system too. So you're playing sometimes the older games. I'm not sure how old that one is, but
It
sometimes
was like
older games
2012.
cannot handle newer systems. Even newer older games cannot handle higher system uh, specs. I
That's
absolutely love it. There's an Oni plays. You've seen Oni plays?
not since like 2012. Like it would have been around the time the YouTube app hit the Xbox 360. Would have been the
Okay,
last
yeah,
time I
yeah.
saw him.
Oh man, they've got some good content. Definitely go back and watch some of their stuff that they've put. But they went through and played. What was it? It was not the re-release, but they went back and just played it. And that game, the physics is weird in it.
What game?
It's a better system because for some reason they walk into this room and there's a bunch of corpses on the ground and they start vibrating and moving all around the room and they just bust up laughing.
Kind of sounds like Hitman Blood Money.
Oh man, I love that game.
Yeah, it's a fantastic
Blood.
game, but that and Contracts do not run good at all on modern systems. Like there is pretty
Oh
bad
yeah, I
everything.
believe it. Blood Money, I think, was the one of the games that I had initially went out and built a computer to play.
Nice.
I'm trying to remember if it was that one or I can't remember what the other one was, but I think it was that one. I had a computer that was gifted to me, and it was just kind of an off the shelf store one without like a graphics card. And then I wanted to play that game, and I'm like, I can't. So I went out and started buying parts to put together to so I could play Hitman. Such a
Nice.
fun game.
It really is. Like, even now, like, for all the shit that the modern Hitman games get, and hell, even
Hmm.
Absolution, like, those are still fun games.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to remember which one was the one where you were in the opera house and they were doing the play and you had to time your sniper shot with the gunshot on the stage. That one was one of my favorite levels.
That was Blood Money.
Okay, yeah, then that's the one that I built the computer for. There's some good missions in those games,
There
and
really
even
is.
one of the newer games even still had some good stuff, but I can't remember which one that one was. It was there's just you're in like this Mexican market and you're walking through just these crowds of people and like they did a really good job rendering those crowds.
I think that was Hitman 2?
Yeah, that sounds right. It was whichever one Anita Sarkeesian was complaining about in still footage for.
Fucking Anita Sarkeesian.
Uh,
Going back to the Fate conversation, like it's
yeah.
like I know Fate the Curse King has issues with modern systems, but the Traitor's Soul, Undiscovered Realms, and the original Fate, which came out like I believe 2010, 8, and 5 respectively, those
Hmm.
still run great on modern systems. It's just the Cursed King that has issues.
Wow.
Yeah, like as long as you have
And
VSync on the older games, you're totally fine. It's weird.
and GOG's usually pretty good about releasing or updating games to make sure they run on modern systems.
I haven't tried the GOG releases. I've only done it on Steam, so
Okay.
take this with a grain of salt. It's just Steam that
Yeah.
seems to have the issues.
Yeah. Yeah. GOG has their own team that does that as well, where they'll make sure the games run on modern systems and jump through all kinds of hoops to make them work. That's I think that's kind of where the what was that System Shock 2
I
or
love that game.
1 remake. One of the remakes came about because of a GOG something to deal with GOG. I can't quite remember the story, but it's very interesting. And then there's a company local here in Oregon where I live called Night Dive Studios, and they I think they're actually the ones that did the I think it was the first System Shock remake, or not remake but
Enhanced
remastered,
edition? Yeah.
and yeah, the enhanced one. And they're also responsible for a lot of other game releases as well, like GOG game releases, older games made to work on newer systems. They're very good at it. I should see.
I do
I've
have
talked to the
one
people that
question.
run it. Yeah,
What happened with Kingpin Life of Crime?
King. I don't know what that is.
That they just did a re-release of that game, and apparently it's
Uh-huh.
pretty bad.
Oh no, I'll have to look that one up.
I've been
Oof,
kind of
was it
interested.
Night Dive that did that?
Yeah, apparently it was Night Dive, and I've heard pretty bad things about it across the board from everyone. Even like YouTubers I respect, as well as ones I don't like at all. Like they're all saying how bad the Night Dive re-release is.
Really, that's interesting. They usually do good work, but maybe this is the first game that they released where they kind of rushed it.
Maybe I know Forsaken has some pretty bad issues too.
Yeah,
It's kind of a shame too, because I love Forsaken, but like that game has some major crashing issues.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off on your tangent, dude.
Oh, it's not Night Dive. It's Late Night
Oh, late night.
Studios. It's not Night Dive.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, sorry.
it makes sense that you'd mix them up. I was looking at the Night Dive website, and I didn't see anything in there for it. So it wasn't Night Dive. It was a different one. But yeah, no, I'll have to look into that Kingpin stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's like a shame too, because like I was really excited for Kingpin Life of Crime, and then
Hmm.
I saw the re-release, and it's a pretty buggy mess.
Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Night Dive. What the heck? Why is this? I'm not finding it anywhere. I'll check it out later.
I almost wonder if it got delisted just for
It
how.
might have. They might not have. They might not have put it on or taken it off their website. Then I was looking at a different Kingpin with that, so it's not Late Night. It's something else. Hmm.
Well, it would have been Kingpin Reloaded.
Reloaded. Oh, okay.
Okay, apparently
I'm
Slipgate Ironworks. So I was way off. Interesting.
okay. So it is a different. Okay.
That was my bad. Sorry.
Oh, there's no problem. But we definitely need more good companies getting these re-releases done
I know, because like
because
Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2, extremely
mhm,
solid re-releases.
yep.
And it's like if more companies did things like that, I think things would be
Hmm.
a lot smoother. You know?
Now we just need a good re-release for GOG or wherever of big rigs over the road racing. We
Hell
just
yeah.
need like the world needs that because we just need more shitty games where you can drive infinite speed backwards with no collision and build on buildings.
You're a winner, but in full 4K with all that HDR and all the bells and whistles.
Upscale.
You're genuinely the
Oh man.
first person I've talked to in like 2 years to bring up like big rigs.
On my Steam, I'm not. I think I've changed it, but on my Steam, I used to have the Your Winner as my avatar on there.
Amazing.
It was great. And then I found this goofy looking picture that currently use that I just put on everything. That's just my avatar for anything.
Oh, okay, I thought that was genuinely like art of you or something.
Oh no, it's not. It's a Listerine what was it? Shaving cream ad. I actually had to modify it because half of his face had shaving cream on it in the picture, so I took the beard and flipped it and
Wait,
put it over.
Listerine did shaving cream at one point?
Yes, they did.
Huh, neat.
And this was like from the 30s, I think, or 20s, I don't know. But and then I put the glasses on him and made his eyes cross-eyed to make it goofier.
Out of.
Wait, no, he didn't have the beard originally. I added the beard through AI. That's what I did.
Okay. Out of curiosity, what's the game you wish you would have gotten a chance to do QA on?
Oh, ooh, that's a good one. I don't know actually. I don't really have like a holy grail game. I usually just worked on what they put me on, and I was fine with that. Although if you go, there's actually a bug that I missed in Super Lucky's Tale, and I kick myself every time I see that.
What's
But yeah,
that?
what is? Oh, so there's a sequence break that you can do where you can clip through a treasure chest through in a cutscene, and that's it. It's you have to go out of your way to actually get it, which makes sense why we couldn't find it. But a game that I would have loved to I would have loved to have done QA back in the day for LucasArts is what I would have actually liked doing for
Understandable.
like point and click adventures, Day of the Tentacle, Sam and Max, and that generation of games.
I would love to do that kind of stuff as well. It looks like they had such a good time because those games were so
Oh
fun.
man, yeah, no, I've met a lot of the people that are responsible for those games. Tim Schafer, um, oh, I can't remember the other guy's name, but the guy that was responsible for a bunch of the humongous games, like uh, oh, what was that other one? Putt Putt and Sly Fox and those kinds of games too. Those
Oh
weren't LucasArts, but they used the same Scum engine that LucasArts did.
man, I am terrible at those kinds of games.
And they implement a lot of what has come to be known as moon logic, where it's like you got to mix these two items together, and then after you do it, you're like, oh, that kind of makes sense. Why didn't I think of that? Oh, I know why. Because I would have had to be on the moon to have thought of that.
Fair enough.
There's a YouTuber by the name of
By the name
I
of
think is
what?
her name, pushing up roses or pushing roses or something
I
like
think it's
that.
Pushing Up Roses.
Yeah, yeah. She goes through and plays a lot of those point and click adventure games. She's got some good content too. Definitely check her out.
I used to
Uh,
watch her at one point. I
she's got an entire series where she goes off on really awkward episodes of Murder She Wrote.
I know those episodes are so fun to watch.
I just randomly found her one night and watched a bunch of them, and then I'm like, you know what? I want to go watch Murder She Wrote.
Nothing wrong with that. If I recall right, I
There's a-
discovered her through like an LGR video of all things.
oh, really? Oh, I love LGR.
I
Did
used
you?
to, but like I don't know, I kind of fell out of love with him.
Yeah, I could see that. I have times where there's YouTubers that I'm like absolutely like rabid fan for, and then I'll find myself just stop watching some of their videos after a while. He did a video recently um, about robots, a little toy robot, and he just casually said, "Oh, one of my fans, Ernest Klein, sent this to me."
I heard
You
that
know
and
who
it's like
Ernest?
I'm well aware who Ernest Klein was. It's like, oh yeah, one of my fans, Ernest Klein. It's like,
Yeah,
bro.
and for those that don't know, Ernest Klein wrote a book called Armada. I mean, he also wrote a little book called Ready Player One.
See, I've read Armada, but not Ready Player One.
Oh, Armada was a sequel to Ready Player One, I think, kind
Okay,
of. Which is funny because Armada takes place in Beaverton, Oregon, which is close to where I am right now.
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I haven't read it, but my brother did. And he was telling me all about that. It's actually kind of interesting because there's a documentary called "Video Games the Movie." Have you seen that?
I think I caught like 5 or 10 minutes on that. Like not enough to really
Okay,
form an opinion, but I have seen a
yeah,
little bit.
but it's very good, and I'm a little biased on this topic, and I'll explain why here in a second. But Ernest Klein is interviewed in that movie. But there's a section in the documentary where they talk about people meeting in video games, and then if you watch through that section, I think it's about 25 minutes in. There's a part where there's a screenshot of a Minecraft proposal that says, "Trudy, will you marry me?" That was my proposal to my wife.
Oh no.
It's in the movie, Video Games the movie,
Your
which is
marriage is
also
immortalized, huh?
it's even better because that movie has been put into the Library of Congress. So my proposal will be immortalized for till the end of time,
I
or at least
suppose
as long as America exists.
there are worse things to have immortalized.
Right? Oh man,
Did you ever think that your marriage proposal would be saved in the Library of Congress?
I not in a million years ever thought that that would ever be a sentence that I would ever say or hear.
Fair enough.
It was really funny because the night that movie was released, my wife got a text from one of our friends says, "Have you seen this movie? You should watch it." And then we put it on. That was fun.
That genuinely sounds fun.
Oh yeah. Well, and putting it together was actually a lot of fun because my friend was doing a marathon to raise money for Child's Play called the Minecraft Marathon. And he actually works for Mojang now, but he was doing one of the marathons, and I asked if I could propose to my wife during the marathon, and they let me, and so that's what happened there.
Very, very nice.
And that's where the picture came from. So we don't know who submitted it. We talked to the director of the movie too, and they don't know who submitted it. They just ask people to submit pictures and stuff of proposals and things, and they put it in.
Nice.
Yep.
Out
And currently, I'm working on another game actually that I was playing Lethal Company with my friend, and I'm like, you know what would be fun if we did Lethal Company, but Zelda dungeons. Let's do it. And so I'm making a Zelda Dungeon Lethal Company clone.
Nice. I hope that turns out well.
Oh, it's so far it's been a lot of fun. And the cool thing about it is I haven't done any multiplayer networking kind of coding. And I use Game Maker Studio. I've never done anything like that in Game Maker Studio, and it's a lot more complicated than it would be if I were using like Unreal or something. Because Unreal, there's a checkbox that you click on the objects that you want to sync with the server. On Game Maker Studio, you have to program packets and stuff to be sent back and forth
What
with buffers and whatnot.
what coding language do you need for that?
It's Game Maker language is what it's called. It's closer or more similar to Python than anything else. It's like a mixture between Python and like JavaScript.
Ooh, that sounds like a
Uh,
pain.
it's not too bad. It's what I've been making most of my games in.
If it
And
works, it
so
works.
yeah, I've been doing game development. I want to say for oh geez, 15 years now, just
Okay.
for fun. And I'm hoping to get this one released on Steam at some point. I'm not quite to a point where I can put it up just yet, even in early access. But I want to start implementing some Steam functionality into it. If I get it to a point where I need to do some beta testing, I'll send you a copy and we can jump on. I just got voice chat to work or area voice chat, so people have to be near you in order to talk.
Are you sure you want to give me this power, man? I'm told I'm something of a gremlin when it comes to voice chats.
It's fine. I'll just walk away. So it's good. So I'm modeling it after Link's Awakening. So it's going to be separate individual screen rooms for the dungeons. And I'm going to make it so if you go into a different room, the voice chat will drop quite a bit. You can still hear them if they're like one room away, but not quite is what I'm trying to work on for that.
Okay.
And so the whole point is to go in and collect treasures from the dungeon and then move on to the next dungeon. And all Lethal Company, if you've played that one, that's a lot of fun. It's not going to be as scary, but I think it'll be just as fun.
I can't say I have played Lethal Company. Looks fun though.
Oh, there's a clip. I'll send you it on, or I'll tag you on it on Twitter or something. I'll send you the clip of I was playing with my friend, and he walks into the building, and as soon as he walks in, I start screaming and run past him and leave. It's cut like it's a scene from a cartoon or something. It's just one of the funniest moments that I've ever done or witnessed and been a part of.
That sounds very fun.
Oh yeah.
Out of curiosity, what's your favorite game you ever had a chance to work on? Either like one that you've made or just one you did QA or any of that on?
Oh, my favorite game that I've QA'd. I want to say Super Lucky's Tale, but that's because that was the first game that released with my name in the credits mostly. Um, it didn't get a very good like review scores, and a lot of the complaints that people had about it were things that we were telling them that they should change the entire time we were playing it. So that's another thing. If it gets a low score, it's not necessarily QA's fault.
Ah, yep.
But yeah, Super Lucky's Tale, one of my favorites. I also did. Oh, shoot, what was that other one that I did? This the second zombie game from Microsoft on the Xbox. I'm trying to remember, like the second in the series.
Hmm.
Is
State
it
of
State
Decay
of
2?
Decay 2? Yeah. I was testing that one and we were doing a multiplayer test. That one's actually a lot of fun. I haven't played it. Like, if you test a game, you don't necessarily go home and play that game, um, because you've been playing it all day, basically. But we were doing a multiplayer test for that one, and I teleported back to the house, and I ended up halfway in the floor, and nobody could figure out what the issue was, and they'd only ever seen it one other time.
It's funny you mentioned teleporting into the floor. Like, it's kind of become a running joke. Like, I run a Fallout 76 session with one of my friends, and
Yeah,
every time I teleport to his base, I am always under the floor of his base.
it just works.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. Yeah,
Man, I wouldn't mind QAing a Bethesda game, although they probably don't treat their QA very well.
I'm guessing they don't,
Um,
considering how bad the like bugs are in the release.
yeah, the thing is now they're part of Microsoft now, and a lot of the company that I worked for, a lot of the games that we tested were exclusively Microsoft, and so we had a Microsoft contract. So some of the my old coworkers are probably working on the newer Bethesda games, probably even Indiana Jones that
I,
they just kind of released the trailers for.
that actually kind of makes things worse if you think about it. Like, Bethesda's been owned by Microsoft for years, and we still got Starfield.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't mind Starfield all that much. It Bethesda game really,
It
um,
it was a
which isn't.
fantastic Xbox 360 game. Terrible modern
Yes,
release though.
yes, agreed. It's oh man, if they'd released that game 10 years ago, it would have been fine.
Oh yeah, it would have been probably Game of the Year 3 years running, and we'd have gotten Legendary Edition as well.
Yeah, yeah. Man, they've released Skyrim on every platform they can think of. There's even an Alexa application of Skyrim.
All that, but they can't get it running on that new smart toaster they released. Like, when was that
Oh,
smart toaster?
jeez.
Like, you know the smart
I
toaster I'm talking about, right?
I don't.
It's
I vaguely.
like I occasionally interact in the cooking spaces, and there's this toaster that's got all the like a touchscreen, like I think
Oh,
nine
I think
or
I've seen that one.
ten
Yeah.
different toaster settings, plus all these different things, and it looks like it does toast worse than a regular toaster, despite people
Oh,
like insisting that it's way better. But like you look at it, and the bread doesn't even look toasted when it comes out.
yeah. I think I have seen that one. That was probably some kind of stupid Kickstarter too.
Oh, it definitely. Like I'd be more likely to go for that other cooking machine that's a sous vide, an air fryer, and a quote unquote grill all in one.
Oh yeah, yeah. My mom has an instant pot that does air frying and sous vide as well.
I just have an air fryer
Instant pots are
myself.
great. Instant pots, if you have it, it's the only two like extracurricular outside of your stove and microwave like items in your kitchen that you need is an instant pot and an air fryer. That's it.
I basically don't even have a kitchen because I'm just in a camper myself. Like I got an old
Yeah.
microwave. The thing died, so I'm just using that as a storage cabinet. And then right on top of that, I have the air
It
fryer.
works. Air fryer is the best. Air fried bacon is the best way to make bacon, hands down. There's a reason I'm fat.
That's fair enough. I like my food quite a bit too.
Like I've done bacon pretty much any way you could think of. I don't think I've sous vide bacon, but that kind of defeats the purpose of bacon.
Exactly. Like if you're doing that, you might as well do pork belly and then kind of do almost like a char siu pork type deal.
Yeah, yeah, right. It'll come out really tender, but bacon you need to have crispy. It needs to crunch with a little bit of like pull, like just a little soft. That's
That's
where the perfect bacon is.
exactly. That's why I don't understand why people bacon wrap things. Like it's a cool idea and
Oh,
concept, but it never turns
yeah.
out right.
I always do it right. You got to pre-cook the bacon a little bit and then do the wrap, and then you want to bake it.
And then do you broil afterwards or no?
Depends if it's like a bacon wrapped sausage or something. Oh, my stupid internet. There we go. If it's like a bacon wrapped sausage or something, I wouldn't necessarily broil it, but if you put you could put some like brown sugar on there and then broil it and kind of crisp that up. Ooh.
That sounds very good.
I made some for Christmas. It's so good.
Out of curiosity, since we're on the topic of cooking, what's your favorite thing you ever cooked?
Oh man. This is a good question. I could say hands down, I made French toast once. It was definitely not good for me. What happened was, it was I think Thanksgiving morning. The tradition was we went over to my sister-in-law's house and had breakfast. I was doing some of the cooking, and they ate all of the French toast before I even got any. So I had to make my own. But the only clean pan was the pan that they had been making the bacon in. So there was like half an inch of bacon grease in this pan that was still hot. And so I dipped the or the bread in the custard and dropped that in the pan and then pulled it out real quick. That was the best French toast I had ever had.
That sounds incredible.
And I'm never doing that again because that probably took 2 years off of my life right there.
Understandable. But man, like now you kind of got me drooling over here.
Hope you have a waterproof keyboard.
Thankfully, the keyboard's about a foot away.
Oh, okay. And you're in your podcast space now.
Oh yeah, despite the cast insistence, yes.
Oh man. Yeah, so you stream on YouTube?
I tried, but like since January 2nd, I'd like to say, for
Hmm.
whatever reason, both Twitch and YouTube no longer work with my internet, so I can only just
What?
record and upload now.
Oh, that's dumb. Are you
Extremely.
gonna upload this one to YouTube?
Yeah, what I tend to do is I record ahead of time, then I upload, and then,
Hmm.
which reminds me, I gotta ask you after this, like for all your
Yeah.
socials so we can get them put in the description.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'll send that over to you. Because the other thing was I was like, okay, so you're sentient potato. Does that make you a YouTuber?
Ha! I see what you did there. I suppose it does.
You can use that one. It's fine.
Nah, I think I'm rather partial to Lord Starchitator Mountain myself. Like that name literally came up. Like I just was
That's good.
talking with this guy. Like we were, just shooting the shit, and then he's like, "Hey, you want to do Fallout 76 sessions?" Yeah. And like, all right, I got the perfect name for you. And then he gave me that name. It stuck, and I'm using that on both my server and on Twitter.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. Have you played Pal World yet?
No, I didn't have the cash for it,
No.
so I'm just kind of
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah. It's on the Game Pass as well, but my
I've only heard
computer it's not
bad
playing.
things about it on Game Pass. Apparently, the Game Pass release on PC is like one of the reviews. Oh, let me actually pull it up real quick. Like this,
Yeah.
this one I suppose is also technically related to QA.
Hmm.
Because, hold on. Like, I'm not trying to
Yeah.
go too slow. Sorry about this.
Oh no, that's fine.
Hold on.
No, no. While you're doing that, I bought it. I re-upped my PC Game Pass so I could play it, but my computer wasn't handling it. I have Game Pass on my Xbox from my friend who signed into it, and then so I played it with him on that, and that one worked fine. And then I bought it on Steam, so I've been playing it on my Steam Deck.
Oh, lovely. Apparently the Xbox app is borked again.
Oh no!
See, that's, I think, my
It
biggest issue with the PC Xbox app. It either works well, or it's
yes.
broken, and there is no in between. It's actually worse than the EA
Yep.
app.
Agreed.
It's a shame,
I wouldn't
too.
say it's that bad. Well, it's definitely better than the Uplay app.
I don't know. I've literally, to this day, never had problems with the Uplay app.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, no, it's always
I,
worked weird, like, well for me.
man.
Here it is.
Yeah,
Here's
they've been having some server issues. Yeah. Okay, go.
the review says, avoid, not the same as the Steam version. Do not buy on Xbox or MS Store. You will pay the same price for a game that is an inferior version of the Steam one. Or another
Mm,
one, it's amazing they'd release this game in such a state. I understand it's a beta, not official release, but every a step of the way there was a new issue that took away from actually playing the game. The lack of
yep.
crossplay, the significantly older version compared to Steam, and the myriad of technical issues are going to ruin what should have been a triumphant launch for a game with a lot of potential. Be better, Microsoft. Have better standards for the game you publish. Which that is literally,
Now,
like, the entire thing, like, reviews, except for, like, 2 outliers. It's saying that it's all an
yeah,
outdated version that's broken.
it probably is an outdated version. The approval process to get things uploaded to Xbox is a lot more stringent and takes longer than it does on Steam. Steam, you basically just upload it and that's it. But the Xbox that has to go, it's like even if it gets approved, it still takes like a day or two. So it's probably definitely an older version on the Xbox. I played it on Xbox. That's where I first played it with my. We were doing a multiplayer with my friend, and it played really well. I thought like I didn't have as many issues as some other people had, but I didn't really play it super long. And then the Steam version, I've definitely been playing it a lot and have gotten pretty far on that one, and I haven't had any major issues on that. But I haven't also done multiplayer on the Steam version either. So that's take that with a grain of salt. My review, A plus, not necessarily A plus. I want to say B plus. Uh, Definitely an entertaining game.
It looks extremely fun. Next time I
Oh
get
yeah, it
money,
is.
I'm probably going to actually put it into Pal World.
Yeah, let me know. Well, I'll jump on. We can shoot some pals.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I gotta get going here soon.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Anything you want to promote
Yep.
before we end the podcast?
Um, just ilovethejam.com. Also, if you go onto YouTube and search up Game Mechanics Podcast on it's on my buddy's channel. This is Copilot on YouTube. It's the podcast that me and him do where we talk about game QA and just whatever how we want to fix video games. I thought the title Game Mechanics just worked for what we were doing.
Sounds like a pretty
It's a
good
pun
title.
on two levels. So definitely check those out. Also check out my buddy Copilot. He's been getting back into streaming, so he streams at least 4 days a week.
Sounds like a good time. I'll have to check out his stuff after this if you want to put that into the description as well.
Oh yeah, I'll send that over to you.
Sounds good. I hope you have a good night, Screwtape.
All right. Yeah, you too. It's good talking to you.
Very good talking to you.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. Alright, guys, and that was another episode of TaterCast. If you want to watch more, link to the playlist will be in the description below, as will everything else. Wishing you all the best. Have an amazing night. And keep on keeping on, you amazing fellers. Woo!